Hey everyone, my name is Ryan, and for my issue that I'd like to examine is the seasonal flooding in Sierra Leone. Many of you know that I served, and actually this painting behind me is from Sierra Leone, and I love to have constant reminders of my time there. But this is actually a pretty big issue. Now, Sierra Leone is located on the west coast of Africa, and is actually called Sierra Leone. It means Lion Mountains. The Portuguese first settled, and if you look at this picture, you can see that the people settle in the valleys. As you start to reach higher up, people don't quite want to go as much, so they really just pack themselves in. Now, a main problem is as the rainy season begins and is in full swing, you will have raging floods, raging torrents of water just ripping through these streets, killing tons of people. Now, it started really ramping up back in the 90s and early 2000s. From 1991 to 2002, there was a major civil war. Now, this civil war terrified hundreds of thousands of people. If you've seen the movie Beasts of No Nation, and I actually just finished reading A Long Way Gone about a child soldier in Sierra Leone, people were terrified and they fled west. And the biggest and safest place was Freetown. That was where the government is located. That's where the bulk of the soldiers were, and people thought they were safe there. So as these tens of thousands and eventually hundreds of thousands of people who were displaced, we learned about that in chapter 7, went to went to Freetown, they began to clear land so that they could live. Now the valleys were all filled up with people, and so they began to chop down the trees, clear out the land so that they could make their little shanties and huts. The problem with doing that is once you start to clear the vegetation, the vegetation acts as a buffer zone. As soon as the water hits with the vegetation, it absorbs it before it can reach down in the valleys. Well, now we have a situation where tons of these hillsides are completely barren. It almost acts like concrete. As soon as the water hits it, it's going to slide right down to the valleys and fill the valleys up so fast with water. The next problem we have are sachets. They provide drinking water to these poor people in these slum areas. We learned about that in chapter 8. Now, as these people drink the sachets, they don't just throw them away in garbage bins, they throw them on the street. As they throw them on the street, they get swept, kicked, or water pushes them into the gutters, and those gutters get clogged up so fast. And you eventually reach where they are now to having areas of total slum, total garbage, total nastiness, and tons of just still stagnant water. The stagnant water alone creates so many deaths through breeding of mosquitoes and malaria. Typhoid is a major problem here as well. Now, I actually took this picture in Sierra Leone in 2017. A huge mudslide ripped through the capital and thousands of people were killed. This was highlighted in world news agencies. BBC reported it. I remember my parents and friends emailed me making sure I was all right. I was all right. All the missionaries were okay, but many of the members were actually killed. Now, in order to remedy this problem, we could start by one, pushing the Sierra Leone government to ban people from just developing any land they please. There needs to be a certain elevation to where people can no longer clear land for planting or for housing. As soon as that's done, the next step is banning sachets and providing people with clean, healthy drinking water without so much plastic waste. If you can stop that, then the sewage system, even though it's outdated, will be able to help remedy the problem. Instead of having flooded streets for hours, it'll only be for an hour. From there, we can push the Sierra Leone government to build better sewage systems, and eventually, as the rainforest begins to grow back, a lot of these problems will actually disappear. And that's my project, and that's the issue I really wanted to highlight in Sierra Leone.